Hello, and welcome to this year's first edition of GC 360 News, where news comes full circle. I'm Michael Warwick.
And I'm Deanna Hamilton. Every Thursday this semester, Georgia College students will bring you the latest news here on campus and in the Milledgeville area.
Let's get right to it. Our top story, turmoil in Milledgeville city government. Allegations of ethics complaints and retribution against business owners have rocked the city. GC 360's Caleb Tillman gives us an overview of what's been happening.
The normally placid city government of Milledgeville is in turmoil. The mayor has stepped down after falling ill and having his insurance company become the target of a criminal investigation. The city council is at odds over a proposal to combine the city and county administrations, and city officials have been accused of ethics violations. The latest development is rippling like thunder through the city. A special master has ruled that the city manager indeed did violate the city's ethics law. It all began when a proposal that would combine the governments of Milledgeville and Baldwin County set off a firestorm of opposition from some members of the city government. Chat Daniel, president of Century Bank and Trust, wrote an op-ed published in the Union Recorder favoring the proposition. In it, he said some city council members were selfishly protecting their turf and suggested that they had not read the consolidation proposal. Soon afterwards, city officials moved over $5 million in public funds from his bank and deposited it into annuities and other high-risk accounts, effectively gambling with public funds. Over $2.5 million of that money was deposited in annuity accounts, which are not on the list of approved account types for public funds mandated by the Georgia Municipal Association.
And in late February, there was a directive drafted which asked for us to sign off to ask Mr. Jarrett, the city manager, to move the funds away from Century Bank.
Reynolds secretly recorded a meeting held behind closed doors about the movement of the money from Century Bank.
We might want to consider moving our funds. I have been. Yes, sir.
What's wrong with retaliation? Yeah. It's the way you do business.
A special master ruled that the council's actions violated the city's ethics ordinance. It is unclear how the council plans to respond moving forward. We'll be looking at this tumultuous situation in more detail in the GC 360 episodes to come, so be sure to tune in next week for a closer look at the state of our government. Stay tuned and talk to us online if you have information that might be helpful in our reporting. For GC 360, this is Caleb Tillman.
Let's move from city to campus government. A heated debate between incumbent SGA President Jawan Jackson and challenger Barrett Stanley highlighted the closing days of the presidential campaign. In the end, Jackson won with 52% of the vote. He received 1,535 votes, while Stanley fell short with 1,392. Jackson spoke about his victory.
And to talk about real actionable steps that we can take moving forward, not just for the rest of this semester, but on to next year.
And how has your...
It was pure madness on campus when Georgia College students gathered to celebrate homecoming weekend. Joey Peoples was there to capture all the excitement.
Last Saturday, you could feel the excitement in the 37-degree Milledgeville air. Georgia College homecoming weekend was in full swing. Kicking off homecoming day, runners braced against the elements for the 11th annual Bobcat Ramble 5K and Fun Run. More than 200 runners registered and began the race at the depot. The chilly temperatures, however, didn't stop these runners from supporting GC in a healthy way. Later in the day, the Bobcats' men's and women's basketball teams faced the Georgia Southwestern University Hurricanes. The men fell to the Hurricanes after a disappointing second half, ending the game with a final score of 80-72. But the women's basketball team dominated the court with a victory over the Hurricanes, winning 73-64. And then there were the post-game celebrations. GC's homecoming committee switched things up this year by adding another royal category to the mix, Duke and Duchess. Georgia College organizations campaigned for their candidates throughout homecoming week, but it was Delta Sigma Pi's Will Stubbs and Phi Mu's Montgomery Jones who were crowned GC's first Duke and Duchess. Taking the titles of homecoming king and queen were Thunder Crew's David Robeson for Mr. Georgia College and Alpha Delta Pi's Jasmine Krazel for Miss Georgia College. The highlight of GC's homecoming weekend was definitely the homecoming concert. Students packed Centennial Center for a sold-out show to see Jessica Hernandez and the Deltas, Moon Taxi, and Waka Flocka Flame slay the stage for a rockin' good time. There was never a dull moment between Jessica Hernandez's soulful vocals, Moon Taxi's indie rock, and Waka Flocka's hair flips, thanks to DJ Stellar Shores and his hype dubstep beats to keep up the crowd's momentum. Before the concert got underway, GC 360 caught up with Jessica Hernandez and Waka Flocka to get to know them better as artists. Jessica Hernandez and the Deltas aren't afraid of trying different things. Hernandez expressed that not being tied down to a specific genre has allowed them to figure out who they are as artists.
I kind of just started writing and then figured it out from there. I didn't really want to pick a genre and be like, oh, what kind of artist do I want to be? Like, do I want to be this? Do I want to be that? So I just started writing, and I, was writing on guitar and piano and drums and bass, and like I just set up a little studio in my house and started recording and writing stuff, and just kind of saw what happened. And you can kind of tell too, like our record's a little all over the place. There's like, some disco, there's some soul, there's some garage rock, and it's got like all those influences kind of just from writing whatever happens and letting it kind of be its own thing.
Similar to Jessica Hernandez and the Deltas, Waka Flocka Flame has an appreciation for various types of music and considers himself as an entertainer for different kinds of people, not just an icon for fans of rap.
I feel like I ain't rap, I'm an entertainer. I like entertainment, you know what I mean? It's a difference, like, I'm out here to try to be like going to history books of the best lyricists. I just want to have a good time. I feel like music, it's always going to be somebody in music to make you have a good time. It's always going to be somebody you listen to for like be sentimental women or etc. I'm just a person for the excitement. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm going to stick to what I know.
Georgia College Homecoming 2015 was a success. Check out our Facebook page and YouTube channel for more concert footage and the full interviews with Waka Flocka and Jessica Hernandez. This is Joby Peoples reporting for GC 360.
We'll have more on those basketball games in our sports segment.
That's coming right up after the break. Also ahead, we've moved way beyond spring training at Georgia College. Stick around for our report from the field.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 68 children is diagnosed with autism. That's about a 30% increase in 2 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. a whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome to GC 360 Sports. I'm Cole Rogers.
I'm Kelly Miller.
And I'm KJ Sinclair.
As you heard earlier, in Georgia College basketball, it's green light for the women and red light for the men. The women's team won their homecoming game Saturday against Georgia Southwestern 73-64, behind strong performances from senior guard Shantiana Keys and Anisha Donnelly. Keys led the team with 24 points, going 12 for 12 from the free throw line. Donnelly was not far behind, scoring 18 points with 8 rebounds. With this victory, the team secured the final spot in the PBC tournament. In the men's game, the Bobcats fought hard. The game was a back-and-forth thriller featuring 15 lead changes. Terrell Harris and Dwight Anderson scored a combined 39 of the team's 72 points. Harris had the hot hand, shooting 7 for 11 from the field. However, the team struggled to regain the lead, and despite a late comeback effort, it was not enough for the Bobcats as they fell to the Hurricanes 80-72.
Bad news for Bobcat sports fans. Due to consistent rain, the recent slate of games scheduled for earlier this week has been postponed. The baseball games and the tennis matches have not yet been rescheduled. We'll have more information on our website and Facebook page when those games will be happening this upcoming week.
2 Bobcat baseball names have been shining bright early this season. We take some time to get to know these all-star players as GC 360 reporter Carly Spear gives us an inside look.
It may be February, but the Georgia College baseball season is off to a running start with 2 preseason All-Americans. First baseman Claire Deezer and catcher Steve Hazel were awarded the honor by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. Before every season, the writers choose players who they think will become All-American athletes after the season.
Being a pick to the preseason All-American team has been a pretty good honor. I don't really put anything into it because it's just preseason. I like to try to show my talent on the field, you know, because, I mean, preseason doesn't really mean anything unless you're postseason All-American. So
it's a good honor. I don't look too much into it because there's a whole season ahead of you. That's just people speculating, and really comes down to what you do on the field. So it's a good honor. Deezer finished the 2014 season with a whopping .496 batting average and smashed 10 home runs. Steve Hazel ended the 2014 season with a .381 batting average. He collected 53 RBIs and led his team with 13 home runs. But of course, we always wonder how these incredible athletes get into their sport. Yeah, I first started playing baseball as far back as I can remember, as soon as I was able to walk. My dad had me throwing a baseball.
I started playing baseball when I was 3 or 4 years old. I guess I just loved it and kept playing it ever since then. It got better and loved it even more, and now I'm playing in college, and it's been a long ride, but a fun ride.
Baseball is a fun ride, but how far can it take a player?
After I graduate, try to work to be a coach and teacher and kind of mentor kids because I didn't really have that much guidance in high school. So the 2015 baseball season is well on its way, and having 2 players being named preseason All-Americans is not a bad way for Georgia College to start the season. I'm Carly Spear reporting for GC 360.
Recent awareness about the conditions of the intramural fields has led to some concern. But thanks to the actions of students and rec sports directors, huge changes are being made to improve the quality of the fields. Our own anchor, Michael Warwick, got a look for himself.
The Georgia College intramural fields. They've been loved for their location and accessibility, but after years of providing a venue for outdoor rec sports, the grass has suffered serious wear and tear. Macy Holstein is a staff member with the rec sports department. She has seen firsthand the various problems caused by the poor field conditions.
The conditions of the field have been, especially when it rains, the mud just ruins everything, and it makes it unsafe, and it contributes to a lot of injuries and makes it less fun, really, because you're so worried about that and how it will impact the way you play.
Staff members like Macy even have an extra job as a result of the porous grass. The job is dirty and certainly isn't fun.
Yeah, when it rains, numerous times throughout the 4 years I've been here, I have to take buckets and go in the fields and spend 2 to 3 hours bucketing the water off, and then driving it to the parking lot and dumping it in the drain.
Now, the fields are in line for renovations. Bert Rosenberger is the director of rec sports at Georgia College. He has the inside scoop as to what exactly the plan is to revamp the intramural fields.
They're basically starting over with this field. They're going to take down all the fences, they're going to tear up the infield, they're going to move the light poles, scrape everything up, put down a really good subsurface that'll help with the drainage and that sort of thing, put down new irrigation, and then put down the new grass on top of that. And hopefully that just ends up being phase one for a bigger project. What we're hoping to do is eventually do that for all the fields.
So with the big improvements at the fields, what's the cost? Well, it's hefty. Phase one alone costs about $500,000. But students won't have to pay a dime. The funding is coming from the state government.
The ultimate goal is we feel like we have a top-notch program. We offer a lot of services. We have a top-notch indoor facility, and now we want to have the outdoor facility to match. We want our participants to be proud of where they play intramurals at. We'd like for this to be included as part of the tour instead of like an eyesore, what it is.
Well-maintained green grass like that on the other athletic fields changes what once was an eyesore into an eyeful. The renovations can be selling points for potential students during tours. Georgia College hopes to have the fields completed by next fall, when once again rec athletes will take to the fields in hopes of intramural glory. But this time, they'll have some new green grass under their feet. For GC360, I'm Michael Warwick.
Diversity is important for sports and for everything else at Georgia College. Up ahead, Deanna checks on administration's drive to promote diversity on campus. Stay with us.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
My new mom and I have a lot in common. Great outside. We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love
Homemade
yard.
noodles.
Oh, look.
Marty, stop it.
Igneous one. That's not
I'm
a
so
rock.
sorry.
And she
That
knows
reminds
a lot
me.
about wildlife.
I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control.
That's
I
not
heard about this one. It's called the IUD,
been kind of fun.
intrauterine device.
You don't have to be perfect to be a
Or we could try the
perfect
patch
parent.
on your arm.
Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just
Actually,
as you are.
I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think, then? Arm or the butt?
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Returning to campus news, Dr. Steve Dorman has big plans to raise the profile of Georgia College, and promoting diversity is one of them. We want to see how that project is going.
At the recent State of the University address, GC President Steve Dorman once again emphasized one of his administration's major priorities.
We must seek diversity in our faculty, staff, students, and provide a welcoming environment for all.
Dr. Dorman issued his call to diversify the campus in the spring of 2013, just months after being inaugurated. He commissioned a planning committee consisting of students and faculty to draft a diversity action plan, but change is taking time. Since the fall of 2013, Georgia College has had the highest percentage of white students of any of the state's public colleges and universities. According to the University System of Georgia's fall 2014 semester enrollment report, 82.6% of enrolled students were white. In the spring of 2013, the figure was 82.7%. That means last semester's figure represents virtually no change.
There is some diversity, but I don't think there is enough or as much as there should be at a liberal arts university.
The Georgia College student population also is heavily female. Last fall, 61.3% of Georgia College students were women. That is a slight increase from the 60.6% figure in the spring of 2013. The Diversity Action Plan calls for increasing the number of underrepresented students and faculty, diversifying curriculum and research, and cultivating an inclusive campus environment. Support programs such as SOAR and Glimpse are working to attract underrepresented students. Additional curriculum overlays are being considered, and public forums on diversity have been held.
We're all here for the same reason, the same mission to increase diversity at a number of different levels.
But Black Student Alliance President Andre Patterson says she still feels like an outcast on campus.
As I am the, if not the other black kid in class. I am one of very few.
How does that make you feel?
Like an outcast, especially when a teacher looks at you and says, "What are your thoughts on slavery?" Like I'm the expert.
Dr. Dorman was unavailable for an interview, but the President's Commission on Diversity Chair, Dr. Su-Ming Chung, explains that action is key.
Especially Dr. Dorman does not want to have strategies, but not having an actual plan. This is what he said, that he doesn't want that you give me a document and put it on the shelf and never being realized.
While the planned document outlines goals and their respective actions, timeframes, costs, and responsible parties, no specific empirical projections are yet included. President Dorman noted a 24% increase in applicants from underrepresented students for fall 2014 in his 2015 address.
The increases that we saw in fall 2014 were among our African American students and Hispanic students in terms of application growth.
This suggests progress, but USG data show that actual enrollment of underrepresented students remains stubbornly low. In the fall of 2014, only 7.6% of enrolled students were Black at Georgia College, and the figure for Latino enrollment was 5%. In spring 2013, the semester when Dr. Dorman launched his diversity enrollment, the figure for Black students was slightly larger at 8.2%, and Latino student enrollment was 4.6% that semester. While efforts are being made to improve campus diversity, there is still much work to be done.
We'll be following this story as the diversity plan takes shape at Georgia College.
Coming up after the break, find out what Georgia College students say about where to find the best barbecue in town. I can't watch. Stay with us. Entertainment is up next.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
GC's
jazz band, music, dance, and theater departments collaborated last week to produce Anything Goes. GC360's Becca Schaff got behind the scenes and has a report for us.
Broadway has come to Milledgeville, after a fashion anyway. After extensive rehearsals, like the one you're seeing here, the Georgia College Theater Department put on a production of Cole Porter's musical, Anything Goes. It was a night full of tap dancing, swing dancing, and timeless songs. After those rehearsals, the performance ran for 5 days, from February 18th through the 22nd in Russell Auditorium. The production celebrates a play that debuted 81 years ago. A new version of Anything Goes won a Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical in 2011. The creative team behind the musical was made up of Dr. Amy Penny as director and Dr. Cliff Towner as music director.
So the opportunity to collaborate with my colleagues, with students from other departments and so forth, has been the most joyful part for me, outside of actually performing the musical, of course.
They wanted this to be a part of Georgia College's homecoming celebration. It's the first time in Georgia College history that the theater department, jazz band, and dance program have all worked together. The musical starred students such as Elizabeth Coleman, Tavari Mirshal, Maria Barber, and Preston Watson. The production was choreographed by Georgia College students such as one, Ashton Antonezzi.
The hardest part for me for this experience would be having to think about them singing and what movement would work best with them singing and holding long notes and their ranges and everything.
One of the leads from the performance is Preston Watson, who played Lord Evil in Oakley. Preston is a Georgia College grad student.
All in all, I really think this show kind of set a new bar for the theater department.
If you liked Anything Goes, the theater department will be debuting their rendition of Romeo and Juliet next month in the Black Box Theater. This is Becca Schaff reporting for GC360.
Southern living wouldn't be, well, Southern living without barbecue. It's a staple, practically a food group all on its own. So we wanted to know where Georgia College students go for their barbecue. We sent reporter Alex Mason out to find out. Here's her best of report.
One of the charms of Georgia College is its location. After all, Milledgeville possesses all the characteristics of a typical southern town. When people think of the South, one of the first things that comes to their mind is the food, more specifically, barbecue, one of Georgia's most prominent culinary dishes. So what's the most popular barbecue restaurant in Milledgeville? We asked the students of Georgia College to find out.
Old Clinton's on 441 is so good. I love their mac and cheese.
My favorite barbecue eatery in Milledgeville is Old Clinton's. It's up on 441.
Oh, yes.
It has some of the greatest barbecue chicken you'll put in your mouth. And the macaroni cheese balls, literally, they'll knock you out. They're fantastic.
Oh yes, they have literally the best pulled pork sandwich you will ever eat in your life.
Truth.
It literally will just fall apart in your mouth.
Truth.
They also have some great corn nuggets. You may ask what a corn nugget is.
I do.
If I could tell you, I would, but it's just corn, this little ball thing, and it's all fried up. It's really good.
Old Clinton was obviously the crowd favorite for Georgia College students in our very unscientific survey. We went to see Marletta Mache, owner of Old Clinton Barbecue, to see what the talk is all about.
Pulled, chopped pork, then we have ribs, chicken, turkey, and we've got a lot of fried items like pickles, macaroni and cheese bites, onion rings, fries, of course.
Old Clinton provides a comfortable environment and eating space for all customers. The photographs on the wall contribute to its homey feel and southern charm. So it looks like Old Clinton is a hit with Georgia College students. I'm Alex Mason reporting for GC360.
That's it for entertainment this week. Stay up to date with everything happening by checking out GC360's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube sites. See you next week. Now back to Michael and Deanna.
That's a wrap for this week on GC360.
We'll see you next Thursday at 4 p.m. for next week's edition of GC360. In the meantime, catch us online at gc360news.com, on Facebook, or on Twitter.